Bam.
Whoa!
That's amazing.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Talkies, brought to you by Carmen Line Studios. We have gathered here together once again for a short film roundup. Short film roundup.
No way. That's
You never say short film
incredible.
roundup, man.
I'm not on board with this, okay? I'm just doing this because you guys want to.
It's time for you to be a team player, Taylor.
That's what I'm doing, man. That's why I'm here.
No, I'm not getting the enthusiasm from you. We like watching short films.
We do.
What's your problem?
Fine. Short film roundup! Short film roundup! We're here! Whoa!
Thank you for joining us.
That's all we were
That's
asking.
all we wanted, man. That's all we wanted. Now I know you're one
There's
of
this
us.
thing called a disclaimer, and we have to throw it
Oh, yeah.
out.
Yeah. Disclaim.
Disclaim.
Me.
Yeah.
You.
All right. Okay. So, in this program, we critique short films. And by critique, usually we mean take a nasty crap upon. In so doing, we might say some things that could come across as mean. They're not mean. We're not being mean. We are judging films that we've made in the past. We've made really bad films in the past. Every filmmaker has. You have to get where you want to go.
To get somewhere,
right?
yeah.
You know? And so if we ever come across as laughing at you, we're also laughing at ourselves.
Yeah,
You know, we've
precisely.
been there. We get why these mistakes are made. We're occasionally going to point out, like, hey, I get why this happened. But if we don't, it's not because we don't understand.
Yeah,
so you
nothing
don't have
personal.
to write us 6 paragraphs explaining why you didn't use a decent microphone on your shoot. Just deal with the fact that next time you're going to need to get a microphone, and we'll all move on.
We'll all move on.
We
Yeah.
do like insight from your films, though.
Yes, actually, and we learn from every film we watch.
Pretty
we
much,
really
yeah.
do, and we hope that our audience is learning too. That's why we're doing this, and it's all in good fun.
Yep.
And why don't we dig in?
Yeah, let's get right
talk
to it.
about some movies.
What's our first film?
First one is The Apple.
Ooh.
The Apple That Was Almost Spoiled.
The
Wow.
apple that was almost spoiled.
Directed by Gabriel Felix.
Gabriel Felix.
Watch it in the theater. Come
Yep.
right back. Actually, sorry. No. Click in the link in the description.
It's
Then
down below. Click
Yeah,
it.
go watch it.
back.
Hey, welcome back. We gave this film a standing ovation.
We literally did.
There's the 3 of us alone in our little screening room. We gave it a standing ovation.
This is a great film.
I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
awesome.
Yeah.
I loved it a lot. He actually, so he's poking fun at sort of the pretentiousness of a lot of art house films. He chose the perfect movie the perfect music
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that with, which was a Claire de Lune cover in sort of a Spanish guitar. Like that's just like, that's
perfect.
exactly
Yeah.
the song that
exactly.
some like first year film student would put in their high art film where they're examining an apple. You know.
Precisely. You know what's funny is that I've seen films like this where they try to parody like the other stuff, but they don't do it as here comes the word genuine. They don't do it as genuine. So what this guy did was like planned out shots that would do this, right? Like he had a rack focus from the edge of the apple to the stem. I'm like, that's genius.
It was nice, and it was also subtle.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know right off the bat that we were making fun of art house movies,
right.
because it just sort of felt like an art house movie.
Right.
He wasn't going over the top with gags. In fact, there were no gags.
Yeah.
He just made his observation and then wrote a title that said,
Yeah.
"That's what this is." The end.
Right.
And because it was so short and sweet, and that's just it. We've
Yeah.
seen so many short films where the whole film was based on someone's idea for a joke.
Yeah.
They're like, I got an idea for a gag. Let's make a short film around it. Well, if your short film is built on one gag, 3 minutes is probably too long.
Yeah.
and we've seen them 7 minutes.
Right.
Where it's just one gag.
Right.
30 seconds to set up and deliver a gag, that's a good short film.
Yeah.
That's a good short film.
Definitely.
If you want to make a longer film, it needs to be about more than just a gag.
Yeah. The runtime of this film on YouTube is 59 seconds, and about half of that is titles.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Which works too.
Yeah, it totally works. It's like straight to the point, and it achieves exactly what it set out to do, and it doesn't linger around. It doesn't do anything that's unnecessary.
Well, and it doesn't even it doesn't laugh at itself, right?
Yeah.
I think we've seen many movies that are like they show a gag and then they lollygag on it by going,
We saw a movie like that today that we're about to cover.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, another short film. Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't stay too long. It doesn't say.
Yeah.
Didn't you think that was funny?
And even from a technical aspect, this was a proficient movie.
Yeah.
It was in that.
Its framing was good too.
It was in that very comfortable place where it all takes place in one room with one camera and one actor and no recorded sound.
Yeah.
So that does give you sort of a softball that it makes things easy.
Yeah.
But that's a great place to start when you're making an early film, a first film, or whatever it is. I mean, just a word of advice: if you want to succeed on your first film, make a movie that's under a minute long, takes place in one room, uses no more than one actor, and requires no recorded sound.
Right.
And you will already be ahead of 2/3 of your competition.
Exactly that.
That's actually really true.
Yeah.
That is good advice.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called, but it's right for your whatever that
Your situation, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what I did for a lot of my first stuff, my first shorts.
That's
where
the
I would,
best way to do it.
Like, you can even take inventory, walk into your garage and take inventory of your garage and then write around that.
Yeah, what do I got in here?
Exactly. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
I still do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in a room just yesterday, and I was just like, this is a cool room. Hey, can I use this room? Yeah, you can use this room. I'm going to write a movie for this room.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That way you're not putting stuff that you can't afford.
Exactly. Yeah. So it all works better that way.
Yeah. So this was amazing, Mr. Felix.
Yep.
Yeah.
I really have no more to say
Yeah,
about it than that. It was a
it's-
simple film that delivered on everything it tried to.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, well done. Standing ovation from Carmen Line Studios.
We will don our hats and look up.
yeah.
Yes. Nicely done.
All right. Next one is Three Bozos Outside Cape Cod, Massachusetts, directed by Quentin Gavin, and Patrick.
You just gave up on that. You just gave up.
Okay, let's try this.
Go for it. Come on.
All right, here we go. Quentin Gavin, Jack Desimmois,
Cool.
Sure.
and Patrick Grady.
Grady.
I have no idea how to pronounce this name. Desormier.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. Anyway, go watch
I like
the
the
film.
French.
Desimmois.
Desimmois.
Desimmois?
Anyway, we don't do names here.
Yeah, we don't.
Link below.
Yeah, go check
JD.
it out.
We've been digging all week and we haven't found a single speck of gold, cod sarn it. Jack, Josiah, Jebediah, Desomia, you spit out that chaw right now. It's a filthy habit.
I'm here for a rootin' tootin' good time, not a long time. Leave me alone, by jings.
Back.
Are we back? Are we back? Are we back?
Taylor,
Hey, what's up?
get us started
Okay.
on these three guys.
The Bozos.
Bozos.
What a bunch of bozos.
Yeah, so this movie is a comedy, a search for treasure, sort of a adventure-ish film with splitting groups of people going to getting wacky hijinks. This is clearly a movie that's not taking itself seriously. This is clearly a movie that kind of what we were talking about, I think, an episode ago, short film roundup ago, where we were talking about friends getting together and having fun making a movie.
Fun, right.
They had lots of fun.
Yeah,
You could
clearly-
tell that.
You could tell they
Yeah.
clearly had fun.
And you
a
could
lot
tell
of
they were
fun.
funny people.
Yeah.
These
yeah.
are funny people having fun together in front of cameras.
Yeah. To say what's good about it, some of the jokes made me laugh. And I think I liked...
Ooh, man, you're having to think too hard.
Yeah, I
Not a
mean,
good
like,
sign.
it's not like I just straight up disliked this movie. But I don't know, not everything really landed fully with me. A lot of the humor didn't quite land with me. It felt like there's one thing when I can watch a movie and I can secondhand feel the fun they're having making it. And then there's another thing when you're watching a movie and I'm not getting that. Like, I can tell that they've had fun making it, but I'm not feeling any of that fun that they had making it. And I don't know why that would happen. I have no idea why that is. Yeah.
I totally understand. We all of us did. I don't know what it is about these kinds of films, but there are times where people make the film and you can tell they had a lot of fun, and you're not sure why. One of you made a
Kenny
thing about
had
it.
a good
Yeah.
analogy for it.
What was it exactly? that you
Okay,
said?
so what we were getting at was, sometimes there's a film where you can tell that they think that they're laughing at their jokes much harder than the audience is laughing at their jokes, and we're
Yeah.
trying to figure out why exactly is that? Like, these guys they're clearly having lots of fun, and they think they're being very funny. They probably laugh really hard every time they go back and rewatch this because they were there and it was a hoot.
Right.
But it's not coming across as really funny to us. And why is that the case? They're clearly funny people and they've come up with funny ideas.
Right.
I think it has to do with delivering humor, just chunks of humor in front of a camera is one thing, and then having humor evolve out of a story is another thing. The analogy I would make is if you're sitting next to someone, they're drinking soda, and they choke, and all of a sudden it comes flying out of their nose, that's funny. Very funny, right? It's not as funny when someone comes up and says, "Hey, watch this. I can blow soda out of my nose." Right? It's funny because it happened within in a context, in a place where you just didn't see it coming, and it caught you off guard.
Right.
And that's what creates laughter.
Yeah.
Whereas this was like waving a flag, like here comes the next joke and here comes the next joke throughout the whole movie, and so it just felt pretty flat.
There was a time when all three of us, when we first met, actually, when we were making this kids film, that we had a lot of jokes in there that were written for. Well, the jokes weren't written, but when we were filming them, the director had jokes in his mind that he was like, "Hey, do this. Hey, do this," and it was funny to him, but it just didn't come off as funny on the camera. And I think that's what's happening here. Like you said, context is what matters here. When the guys who made this film probably watch the film and they remember the situation, like you said, and they'll laugh at it because they were in that situation. The audience that you're showing, though, does not have the same context, and you're not building any context for them. You're like, so for instance, the gag with the three doors, and he's like, "Well, which one's the pantry?" You're sure, okay, there's a gag coming up, and okay, and man, he opens the wrong one. It's a joke.
Yeah.
But to them, it was probably hilarious because maybe to them, someone had thought about what if one of these, and he just can't remember which one's the pantry, and he keeps opening. Like that's a funny idea that's coming up. But again, there's no context for us.
Yeah, these gags reminded me of like what you'd see in a 1990s kids show on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
like Salute Your Shorts or one of those.
Yeah.
That's the kind of stuff that always happened there.
Yeah.
Which is funny, haha, to 12-year-olds. I think the problem here is that the rules of comedy are actually pretty much the same as the rules of horror. And bad horror tends to rely on jump scares.
Yeah.
Right? And bad comedy relies on what I'd call jump jokes.
Jump jokes.
It's just, here's a funny thing. Here's another funny thing. Here's another funny thing.
Right.
But true terror in a movie comes from telling a story and creating an atmosphere, right? Setting a place that removes you from where you really are and making you uncomfortable and then scared.
Right.
True comedy does the same thing. It's about creating a place where maybe you settle into a sense of comfort and you think you know what's coming, and then something else happens and it catches you off guard, not in a scary way, but in a funny way, and you laugh.
That's a great explanation.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Jump jokes is what this was.
Yes.
This was all jump jokes.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the things that do work are things like the weird sound effects.
Yeah, that's what I just remembered.
It fits with the tone.
Well, you are expecting normal sounds to come out, and then something else happens.
And I kind of like the ADR, actually. Like it was
Yeah, it
like
was
it
kinda
was like
funny.
it actually added to the silliness.
Yeah. Actually,
everything.
the whole part of their Western, or is it Eastern?
In Eastern,
A
spaghetti
spaghetti
Eastern.
Spaghetti Eastern. So they're the whole time on the beach with the two cowboys who are talking to each other. That whole ADR, like weird silliness that was happening between them, I liked that a lot because it was so making fun of film, and you're expecting this to go kind of smooth, and it's not. That whole part was great, and where they kept cutting to it, I thought that was interesting.
Whoever was operating their drone did a good job too.
yeah,
Like,
they had some pretty good.
They did some good drone
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's jump jokey.
Yeah, I think it would have been better if it focused on those two characters alone, because like that giant styrofoam hat was funny.
That was great.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
You know? Their costumes were awesome.
Yeah.
There was one sound effect that I loved when they were sword fighting, where like they stop being sounds and it's just like bang, bang, bang.
And it wasn't even like enthused.
Yeah.
Just bang.
That was great.
Yeah.
One of the gags that I really liked was how the guy, when they meet the random guy in the crawl space, and he comes out and he has a map and as he keeps trying to say why he's there and what he's doing, the other dude is just like, I can't understand a thing you're saying, man. English. I thought that was actually quite funny.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I like that gag.
Yeah.
I didn't like when they just straight quoted Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that was
Just like, oh yeah, that was a movie quote.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction, great.
Actually, when the dude walked in with the sunglasses on and said, I just came from the strip club, or just dropped.
Oh yeah.
That felt so much like a Tarantino like thing. Like it just felt like a Tarantino lift.
Yeah, like character walking in like that.
Yeah.
In that situation. The whole beginning of this actually really kind of threw me off because I couldn't grasp what kind of movie this was gonna be. Like I was really confused by the actor looking at the camera. Like the actor makes eye contact with the lens, and this happens a few times throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But the first time it happens, because it's like a big close up on him and he's looking straight at the camera, I actually thought this was just like a YouTube video, like a vlog or something.
I thought that too, actually.
Yeah.
As soon that was the first scene. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
Or that they were doing something like really high art,
Right.
Oh,
Right.
this is interesting. Oh,
I'm not sure if that
Taylor,
was
I'm going to
intentional
ask
or
you brought a special prop to our show today. Will you hold it up and show it to everyone?
Yeah.
This needs to be a part of every episode of Short Film Roundup. This is a microphone. It's a good one.
Yeah. It's the NTG 12, I believe.
All right. It doesn't have to be this microphone. There's a lot of microphones you could choose from. But there's another microphone.
It's a good one.
Get a little lavalier going on.
That's actually that one right there is actually really, really great for interviews. That's called
And for the price.
the giant squid. It's about $35.
Yep.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's really
And
good.
you can run it into
3.5.
into a phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
But
can throw
careful
that in
because
the phone.
Phantom Power will blow it up.
Oh, jeez.
But that's a cheap way to make a squib.
Yeah.
There you
Put a
go.
little blood
Yeah.
pack on that.
Yeah, 35
Plug
bucks.
that into your Phantom Power and pow!
See,
Anyway.
but that's another point. This is $35, and it's not like you have to spend a lot of money to get
Right.
good audio.
No,
it just
but,
takes
I
the
mean,
effort of just
And even
doing
if
it.
the audio is not great, if it's just uniform,
Right.
Yeah.
that will save
That's
your movie.
important.
Like if this movie were no different, if everything else was the same and just the sound was all uniform, or it all sound the same, the levels were all mixed correctly, it goes from being 2 stars to 4.
I'll tell you what.
does.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a free tip right now, okay? Watch the screen.
Free tip.
Yeah, check this out. Okay, so you're using Premiere. You're gonna go over here. Okay, you're going to click on this arrow, and then you're going to click on this menu.
Looks crazy right now.
Oh my god.
You're going to click. You're going to click on multiband compressor.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna just. That's it. That's all you do.
Hey, we do that for the doggies.
Are we doing
The short-ass
tutorial right
tutorials
now?
now in the doggies?
That right there will save your movie.
All right, I'm not editing that. You adding that in?
No. I thought
I'm doing that.
I'm not adding in a screen capture.
I'm not editing this.
I'm not editing these.
Well, maybe you should think about that before you start tutorialing in our episodes.
Shit. Damn it.
It's just
I'd
gonna
like
be
to
a bunch.
retcon that. No.
Yeah, right. On it.
To all of you at home that saw the screen capture, that must have been cool. To us, D looked like he was losing his mind.
Yeah.
What else could we say about whatever this movie was called?
I mean, there's a lot of things we could talk about with cinematography, lighting, staging,
Yeah.
acting. Really, none of that is necessary when we saw what your goal was, and it just you need to know that writing takes place for the audience, especially if you're trying to tell jokes. You have to build up context, and you have to deliver on that context.
The title is distracting.
That was distracting.
Yeah.
Spaghetti Eastern.
No, that's not the title.
Three
The title
Bozos
was Three
and-
Oh, Three
Bozos. It
Bozos.
was a lift on
Three
three
billboards.
billboards outside of Ebbing, Missouri. Which is really cool if you're making a spoof on that movie,
Yeah.
right? And
This
so
was
I'm
a-
looking to the tie-in to this very significant dramatic film, and there's no tie-in.
There's no time. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, certainly looked like quite an effort, and a lot
Yeah.
of hard work went into this
Bunch of
movie.
locations.
And I'm sure you had a great time making it, and I hope you keep doing that and having fun
Absolutely.
and making more.
Yeah, just keep refining your style and your thing.
Having fun is a big thing.
It's super important. To
Oh
do
yeah,
that.
man! I remember when I used to have fun making movies.
Not
Yeah.
anymore.
You remember it?
Yeah.
I deeply
Movies
remember it. I
suck.
cherish
Making
those
movies
memories.
is the worst.
I hate it.
hate it.
Yeah, quit.
Yeah. In fact, I've started a little side gig following my passion.
Oh yeah.
I began counting beans.
Oh.
Count beans.
So you're saying
now.
you're the counter now.
A bean counter.
You're the bean counter.
Wait,
Yeah.
did people pay you for that?
Not yet.
Oh.
But
well,
I've
you got to like do some free
Freelance
work.
bin.
Yeah, I've got a
Build a
long-term-
reel.
You have to build
Exactly.
a real bean counter.
Yeah, I've got a long-term plan. I'm looking at the long game. Going to be a bean counter for the big
That's good.
boys.
Yeah, do it
someday.
for the exposure
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, like, have you saved up to get like some?
I once
some-
worked for exposure, and then I found out that exposure kills people.
Oh yeah.
It's not good. I've heard of
Like
people
sun-
dying of exposure all the time.
sun exposure,
People die of exposure.
radiation exposure.
So you go and you do a free job for someone and you die.
Yeah, it's terrible.
You have a ton of exposure.
Yeah, because they throw you out naked into the freezing polar ice caps.
Well, the
Wow.
the free film,
make
the
a short
free-
film about that.
The free exposure film was a snuff film.
That is free exposure.
Yeah.
Me
for
and
the-
Taylor
for
have been
the-
making snuff on the side.
Oh, that's
It's our
good.
other side hustle.
I think
Should we move on?
think
Is
we
that
should
that
move on.
time now?
it's gotten a little odd. You're still drinking out of the D cup, which is there's no drink in the.
D cup?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, D cup,
D cup?
D cup, yeah.
D cup.
D mug.
Oh.
That's funny because you thought it was boobs.
We need one mandatory boob joke, right? No, okay. Sorry, we live in a post boob.
That was a
joke
jump. That was
society.
a jump joke, dude.
That was a jump joke.
No. I built a whole context and there was definitely like a atmosphere
Hey,
created.
Kenny.
What?
How do you pronounce this? Does it say Kenny? Does this say Kenny?
K.
This is not your mug.
You know
This
what
is
my middle
Taylor's.
initial is? Fool. D. My middle initial is D. Give me the cup, D. Give me the cup back, you son of a.
Oh my god!
Son of a.
Thank you.
I don't think I can use that anymore.
Good.
It's got sentimental value to you now.
You're right, for Kenneth D. Ballantyne. Thank you. Can we move on?
No. I want to stay here in this weird.
This atmosphere is a weird line.
Don't touch my D cup again.
I'll touch your D cup all I want.
All right.
Might even give it a little squeeze.
Just buy me a drink first.
All right, so our third film is called Wine of the Month Club
Oh yeah.
by Still Tryin', which I believe is
a group.
A rap group.
Yeah, they're a band.
They're a rap group.
Anyway, Still Tryin'.
Band of
Wine of the
filmmakers.
Month Club. Check it out.
Pretty good, man. Thanks for letting me stay here.
Yeah. Well, what's going on in your place again?
Bird mites. We got bird mites.
The bird mites?
Bird mites.
They like bed bugs?
No. I like bird mites. Bed bugs are kind of worse. Yeah, it's a thing that happens. Anyways, our place is being bugged off for right now, right?
Oh, that sucks.
Thanks again.
Alright, so I'm going to that thing today? That's today.
Poetry club?
Poetry class. It's concentration, really.
Wordsmith, that's your hit.
Are we back?
Not
Are we
quite.
live?
Not quite yet.
Hi, hello there.
Didn't see either.
Yeah.
Put your
Welcome
D
back.
cup away. So what's up with this movie, D?
What is up with this movie?
What is up with this movie? Tribute to Birdman and Wes Anderson.
And
Soderbergh.
and
Right?
What else?
oh shoot, what is his name?
Stanley Kubrick.
Thank you, Stanley Kubrick.
Oh, there is a
Jesus.
Stanley Kubrick. You're right.
Yeah, The
It's
Shining.
A,
yeah.
It's a
Actually,
Kubrick,
there's a Shining
Soderbergh.
thing.
What's the dude's name that made Birdman?
Inuritu.
Inritu
All those.
and Wes Anderson.
So let's say something. Still Tryin', this group. You guys have a style,
Yeah.
and you are in love with that style.
Mm-hmm.
That's very apparent. And some of the stuff was amazing, like the little model that you had,
Yeah.
and the little Kubrick
With the wine coming in.
That was really, really cool.
I dig that too.
Cutting back to it,
Wes Anderson having sex with Kubrick. That's what that was, the offspring.
Hell yeah.
that was great. I loved.
Something you want to see.
Hell yeah.
I did really dig the whole Birdman-esque
Jazz drums.
drums
Yeah.
that were scoring the whole
Yeah,
thing.
it was
That was
cool.
cool. There was a lot of work put into it.
Yeah.
A lot of work, and it didn't all come together. It lacked some things that make movies movies.
Two things,
Yeah.
I think.
Tell me about that, Kenny.
Number one is the thing we come back to all the time, which is the story. This movie ended, and I could not. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Hold on, I'm getting to that. And I really couldn't say what it's about,
Yeah.
other than its style. Like, the style was a bigger character than any of the characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? So, we didn't quite have enough character development.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the story really didn't take us from one point to another. That's really what it lacked. Now, that being said, there is one magic little piece of machinery that would have made this movie 1,000 times better. Once again, I present to you microphone.
The NTG-12 Rode mic. Check it out.
Hey, we're not paid by Rode. We're not.
However, the Audio Technica 4073A is also really good.
Oh, these things? These bad boys?
These are Chinese
Yeah,
knockoffs.
these aren't even
These aren't
Audio
even-
Technica.
Yeah. And you can use a Chinese knockoff mic. Just use a mic.
There were quite a bit of times where I was in this movie looking at the wide shots, and I'm like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
See, what I noticed what they were doing with mixing was, I don't know if they consciously did this, but the drums were too loud for the dialogue, but it wasn't like you couldn't hear what they were saying. You could hear what they're saying, but you had to fight against the drums.
It just
which was
felt like
bad.
it wasn't
Right.
mixed at all.
Yeah.
Like they just put all of the all the pieces together to make this movie, and no one went through to mix the audio.
Yeah.
But there were literally moments where the dialogue level shifted mid-sentence,
Yeah.
meaning
yeah.
they spliced together two takes, but that for some reason had different different levels and never fixed it.
Yeah.
So the sound mix, and we talk about this all the time. Intention always comes across in your movie. Your intention comes across big time. And when you're making a highly stylized movie, you already sort of have your thumb on that. You get that, right? Your intention's coming across in big ways with all these huge stylistic choices you're making, and that's really cool. But as an audience member, I'm also left trying to interpret the intention of this weird audio mix.
Right. That's another thing, yeah. And if you
don't want people thinking about your audio mix. You want people thinking about your cool design.
Right. Yeah, there's a big thing that people talk about all the time in the film industry, and that's if wow, there it goes.
Cool.
My brain.
That's
Smart,
awesome.
D.
Yeah.
D went to film school.
I have a thought. Can I say my thought while you wait for your thought?
It'll come.
Oh,
Here it is.
All right.
if you did your job correctly, no one will notice.
Yeah.
And that's basically what it is for editing, for cinematography, for sound, for all that stuff.
Yeah.
True.
Also, speaking of noticing, I've seen a lot of the times people from making movies with friends and stuff like that, people will leave something they can't quite change, or a certain framing, a certain thing, like for instance, I was recently doing a film where the tripod was in a shot in the back, and the phrase was, "Oh, nobody will notice." Even like little things, if you're saying nobody will notice, then that's a bad sign.
Yeah.
That's a red flag.
Yeah.
You know? So it's a funny gray area now, because the idea is for no one to notice, but if you're saying on set nobody will notice, people will notice.
Yeah, it's a different context,
You know?
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that happened on Westworld just this season. Westworld, a gigantic, expensive, huge budget TV show, had an episode where in the background, full camera rig is just hanging out in Westworld. Old Wild West town, people are having a gunfight, and there's a freaking camera rig with a guy standing there
That's crazy.
in one shot. And I'm just wondering if someone said at some point, no one's gonna notice.
Yeah.
But the whole internet noticed,
Yeah.
and HBO has already fixed it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the expense but they rotoed that thing out of there.
Jeez, man. That's crazy.
Like
That's
it took
really
2
insane.
days and it was gone.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stuff like it matters, you know, attention to detail matters.
Yeah.
I think to jump back to story, I think it's okay to just not really necessarily tell a story. Even outside of expressionism, I think it's okay to do a slice of life type film. And that's kind of the impression that I was getting from this movie, that they wanted to tell a slice of life sort of piece, story, non-story, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But where I think it's lacking is character. Because
Right.
in a slice of life film, character becomes the star.
I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to have good
And
characters.
I've said that before, that as your character development goes up, your permission to water down the story, I think. You know, there's like a balance.
Right.
You can get away with that more if you give us much more to invest in and care about.
Right.
That's Napoleon Dynamite. by the
Exactly.
way.
Exactly.
This
Yeah.
movie reminds me a bit of Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
And it's just those characters were so well defined, and we got like right in there with them.
Yeah.
We all know those characters really, really well, even if you've only seen the movie once.
Yeah.
The story itself, it does take you from a point A to a point B, but it's like barely.
Right.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the situation in life changed very little in Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
But you are okay with that because you got to know these people.
Well, and
Yeah.
it was intended.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a character piece.
Right.
And I did get that impression from this film, where it was intended to be a character-driven
I didn't
slice
get
of life.
I didn't necessarily get that. And the only reason why I didn't is because being someone who's watched a lot of films, I naturally connected it with other films that had a similar style. And so I'm like, oh, I see what he's doing. He's trying to introduce this while he's introducing this. That means they're going to come together at some point. And so But it's just because it's subjective experience. And it's just me.
Yeah, I liked the main character, but I just felt like we didn't get enough.
Yeah,
enough
I didn't
from him.
think we got enough of all of them.
Any.
They had, I thought, really good actors in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main actor I liked a lot.
Yeah,
That-
he
all of them,
had
I felt like.
he had a nice genuine feel.
Yeah.
He could do subtlety.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Most of them could.
That is a rare art.
Most of them
Yeah.
could. Even the guy who was smoking, his roommate.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he felt real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who was at the poet.
I
thing
like, the
felt real.
poetry throwdown was actually very interesting.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to see more from that part of the story. And when we went off into this wine of the month thing, it felt like a distraction from the story that was already set up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And so in the end, it felt like, well, did we even have to have that poetry bit at all?
Right.
It didn't really matter.
Or if it was, it needed to be glazed over a little bit.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Thinking about it now that you mention acting, I think acting is probably the strongest part of this movie.
Yeah. It's too bad the characters weren't.
And
given
style.
Yeah.
more character.
Style and
Stylization.
acting.
Style
Yeah.
was a huge thing.
Yeah.
I could tell. I mean, like when I first made a film of my own, style was my number one thing too. I really wanted to tell a story because I liked the way they were told, and always that way. And it made for a bad movie, And I think, things like that show up.
But if you think of like the hyper stylized filmmakers out there who are very acclaimed, they're all actually filmmakers these guys were emulating, right? Soderbergh's one of those.
Right.
Anderson is one of those. Inarritu.
Inarritu.
That's a guy. But in all those cases, at very minimum, they gave us extremely developed characters.
Oh yeah.
If not a very, very tight story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the screenplay for Birdman, you don't have to watch that movie at all. You could read that screenplay and feel awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And even in Birdman, there's not even story points that they go to, but it's more like a following a character throughout things that happen and that become a story.
Right.
Wes Anderson scripts are fun to read too. They read
yeah.
really well.
I can imagine. Yeah, I bet that would be good.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot that I do like about this movie. Like a lot of really cool concepts. I like the poetry slam kind of group of people and like that kind of community, and like I would have liked to get more involved in that.
Yeah, he just got kicked out, and that was the end.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was sad.
I also like this wine of the month thing, or I liked the people running wine of the month, or like they're just like in like an apartment and he like sets up a pre-recorded tape on
Yeah.
the phone.
Kinda scams going on.
Some of these ideas were really good. I
Yeah,
thought.
and they're like, you can't cancel. It's
Right.
like it's our policy.
It's
You
our
can't
policy, you
cancel.
can't cancel.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
There's one thing I wanted to bring up, and that's editing. This was very, very bad editing.
Some of the cuts just seemed like random.
Yeah. There's a thing that we did in beginning film class where people would film different people talking to each other, and then when they would do this OTS thing over the shoulder, you'd have this person talking, and then you cut to the next person talking, but instead of allowing air in between there, instead of allowing it to stretch, they would just cut it, and so it was like, "Hi Taylor, how you doing? Oh, good, D, how you doing? Oh, good, Taylor."
Yeah.
And this happened quite a bit in this film.
Yeah. And when you do that, it does a weird sort of optical / audio illusion. It feels like one voice is being thrown back and forth between
Right.
two people, like they're playing catch.
Right.
Yeah, so you always want to bleed the last guy's line over before you cut
Yeah.
to the next person.
L and J cuts.
This had actually pretty good L and J's.
Yeah.
There was a few of them that were really good in there. There was even some sequences that I thought were expertly edited, but I wonder if that was just on accident or something. I don't know. It seemed like the most basic cuts weren't followed suit, and they didn't stylistically either. So it was
Well, I think that again, these guys have a sense of style.
yeah,
I don't know that they're super technically proficient.
yeah,
Right? And so they have great ideas. So they tried to do this thing with like when he's opening the 3 blinds and talking to his stoner roommate,
Yeah.
right? They're talking about like bed bugs or something. and he like opens one.
Oh, right,
And they cut to
Bed
him, and then they cut to some visual.
Yeah.
Back and forth, and it's like blind, him, visual, and then the next blind, and it's got this like syncopation to it.
Right.
But what I want to say, so that I think that was actually cut fine in a way that was really creative, but because it was cutting between, like, each cut, the audio levels like jumped or fell dramatically because the sound wasn't mixed right, and the white balance was different in each camera angle.
Yeah.
And so it made the editing ugly.
Yeah.
Even though it might not have been ugly in that case.
Oh.
Yeah. Like there were times where you could see what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
And it just didn't get there.
And and that's the thing. Like you can cut. That's why sound is so important and white balance. You got a white
Where's
balance.
that dead
man.
horse?
Dead horse, yeah. Sound.
Sound and white balance. You can't say enough about either of those. But your cut could be perfectly fine. But if you're cutting from like a wide to a tight, and the white balance just shifts, now people are going to go, oh, that was a bad cut.
Right.
You know, it's all of a sudden very visual. You can see it.
Well, that and rhythm a lot here wasn't in here, and I mean rhythm.
They wanted it though. You know,
Well,
they
they
were
had
trying for Soderbergh style.
They had Soderbergh
rhythm with Birdman style music.
But I mean like rhythm as in one person talking to another rhythm, where this
Yeah.
person's listening to them and that person's reading this person. There was none of that in there.
Everyone should make a movie in the snow once in their life.
Yeah.
I've never done that.
It's just it's very difficult and annoying, but it's so visually interesting.
Yeah.
I think any time a film takes place in a town covered in snow, it's like the snow and the town are a character to themselves, all on their own. Fargo especially was like that.
Fargo takes that and actually utilizes it,
Yeah.
like in its like story and themes. Oh, by the way, Fargo is awesome.
It's an excellent movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
Yeah, and I've broken our rule where like you shouldn't like bring up a movie you'd rather be watching. Now everyone's leaving our channel. Fargo. Man, I want to watch Fargo.
Why are we talking about Fargo?
Because it's a great movie.
It's what we'd rather be watching right now because it has snow.
And you know what else has snow? Wine of the Month.
That's true.
And we were talking about that.
There's the tie-in. I don't really have much more to say about Wine of the Month.
Yeah.
Wine of the Month was a movie.
Yeah.
Mother is also a movie.
Oh, you're right.
You know what's
Mother?
also a movie? Wine of the Month.
Wine of the Month.
See how that tied in?
Mother. I like Mother. I want to say good stuff about this movie because there's so much that I did like about it.
No, I think these guys are really smart and are really creative.
Yeah.
And I expect many, many, many more good things from them. Oh,
What the heck?
I think someone just started my car. Hey guys, don't take my extremely powerful roadster.
That's the ghost that
Whoa.
was there the other day.
Oh my gosh.
Sounds angry or hungry
Wait.
or hangry. Yeah, it's
at
being
that.
picked up.
That's pretty
Okay.
crazy.
It sounded like it was in the hallway.
So don't get your office next to the body shop.
In between the
restaurant.
body shop and
Yeah.
the restaurant.
It's an amateur mistake.
amateur mistake. We shouldn't have. In hindsight, it was but we're in a 30-year lease, so
Yeah.
what can you do?
Blood contract.
Blood.
We can't. We're actually on house arrest
That's why we do these so often.
Yeah, that's how we're able to put out so many.
Right.
because of the snuff films.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Wine of the Month was, like, I still trying. I like you guys, and I want to see more films from you. I
Yeah,
want to
definitely.
see you raise the bar a little bit, technically.
Yeah, never compromise on your creative vision and your stylization.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got mad chops there.
Yeah.
Just nail down the technical aspects, and you will really do well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that all we got to say about that?
I think so. Until next time, I'm D.
You're not D.
Just kidding. Hey, what if someone else wants to submit their short film for coverage on the short film roundup?
Oh, well, you know what? You can do that. In fact, anybody who's ever made a short film ever in their life,
Wait, anybody?
anyone,
What?
What if it was made 10 years ago?
they can do that.
What if it was made last year?
They can do that.
What if it had no budget?
Absolutely.
What if it had a huge budget?
Absolutely.
What if it's only 10 seconds long?
Nope.
Draw the line there.
So we have a minimum.
It could be-
11 seconds.
11 seconds.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No,
Fair
it
enough.
can be 10 seconds.
Okay.
It could be anything. Submit it to r/Carmeline Studios. We have a thread up right now. You can go just post the YouTube link, Vimeo link.
That means Reddit. That's
Reddit,
on
yeah.
Reddit for
Link.
those of you who aren't Redditors.
Link is in the description. Go check it out. We would be happy to review your film. We really have enjoyed reviewing all these films, and it's been a blast watching all of them.
And
yeah.
pretty much all the people we've reviewed have gotten back to us and said that they enjoyed the experience too, and
Yeah,
I've been grateful for it, even when we've been
a little
little
harsh.
cruel.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. It's just we're trying to be honest.
Yeah,
we're always
and
going to be
it's
honest.
part of the filmmaking experience, and I think that a lot of filmmakers miss that because the festival circuit is no longer really a part of the playing field the way it used to be, right? So when now you make a short film, you put it on YouTube.
Right.
If you're lucky, you might have some trolls that actually know what they're talking about, but mostly trolls are just idiots.
Yeah.
And and then your friends are going to tell you, "Hey, nice job."
Right. Exactly.
But when you went to a film festival, you'd get like this Q&A afterwards where people would line up. Half of them are filmmakers, and they all got something to say about your movie.
Yeah.
And it's a painful experience to stand there and listen to it. But it's good for you. You got to take your
Absolutely.
medicine, man. You
Yes.
take that medicine, you swallow it down, and you become a better filmmaker.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I once had an old man who was like 90 get up in a Q&A after a screening of my film who told me that he wished he hadn't seen my film and that he would prevent anyone he could possible to ever see it.
It's great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
And I said, thank you for sharing that.
That's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, could you say anything worse than that?
That's like
I don't know.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. So I've been there.
I screened my assembly edit one time in front of a class, and they all took notes. I got all the notes afterwards, and one of the people said, "Great idea, terrible film."
It was your assembly edit?
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's not very
Not
good.
feeling it. Not feeling the assembly.
Great idea, terrible film.
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone online once told me to kill myself.
That's another badge.
Have you
of
done that
honor.
yet?
No, I haven't
No.
gotten around. It's on my list
Okay,
to do.
cool.
To do.
To do.
Yeah. Anyway,
We're spiraling.
yeah, we are.
We're spiraling.
I
It's time to
wanted-
wrap this show up.
Yeah, I
You
wanted
wanna
to
say something, D.
I did. I wanted to try and add something new to the show, but I don't.
Like a dance?
Yeah,
could do a
we
dance.
could do like a,
No, I
a
was
game
definitely
show
thinking.
segment.
I was definitely thinking game show dance. But
dance off.
but that
To dance
that I
on.
want to save for a different time.
Okay. Maybe we should have discussed this before the episode, D.
I'm leaving this in, by the way.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, please do.
Well, we could just be
A lot of this is going to be cut.
direct.
A lot of this episode will be cut.
We could just be direct and say, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say, we'll have to figure out what you're trying to get down in a future episode, I think. But what I'm going to do is
In a
eat the
future
battery.
episode, we will figure out
What you're
the
trying
hell
to say.
the
hell you're saying.
I'm like,
Whatever it is you're trying to say, we'll figure it out later.
I know you're trying to tell us something, and I just don't know what
Let
it
me tell
is.
you what Taylor's saying.
Oh, okay. What am I saying?
He's saying, "Thanks, guys."
Hold on just a second. Let me explain what D is saying you're saying.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
What is D saying? I'm
No,
saying.
no. Let me explain what Kenny's trying to say about me about trying to say about you.
Well, do it. Well, do it.
Before you do that, dude, just let me break this down in little pieces for you. Thank you for watching another episode of The Talkies, another short film roundup. We're here at least twice a week with new episodes. Please subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. If you loved it, subscribe and let us know. If you hated us, totally let us know.
And subscribe anyway, so you can
Subscribe
continue
anyway,
to let
so you
us
can
know
just,
that you
you know,
hate it.
become our neighborhood troll.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why not? Why not? Until next time, I'm D.
Nope.
I'm D.
Nope.
Okay, I'm Kenneth D. Ballantyne.
I'm DK.
DK. What?
Because
DK
my
what?
last name is
DK?
it starts with a K.
He's Devon.
He's Kenny. I'm D.
I'm Taylor.
And we will see you at the talkies.
Hello, hello, hello.